Hello, welcome to 2024. I'm Reverend Bonnie, and today we're doing lesson 72. And our statement, this is a long one, by the way, and our statement today is holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation. And I just wanted to take a brief moment and say that as I read the word salvation, to me, what it means is it means the freedom that my soul desires, that salvation to me means that I am free to be a space and a place through which God shows up. So it has a language that's kind of an older language that can come with it old ideas. But to me, it says that I'm the person who sets myself free, and that I do it by aligning with the consciousness of God, which could also be called the consciousness of good, or the consciousness of the eternal, or the consciousness of the light, the consciousness of love. I align with that, and I set the false ideas of myself free. So I just wanted to say that before I dive in again with this older language that means to me, salvation means I've set my spirit free. So holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation or for my freedom. Okay. While we have recognized that the ego's plan for salvation is the opposites of God, we have not yet emphasized that this is an active attack on God's plan and a deliberate attempt to destroy it. In the attack, God is assigned the attributes which are actually associated with the ego, while the ego appears to take on the attributes of God. The ego's fundamental wish is to replace God. In fact, the ego is the physical embodiment of this wish, for it is that wish that seems to surround the mind with a body, keeping it separate and alone and unable to reach others' minds except through the body that was made to imprison it. The limit on communication cannot be the best means to expand communication, yet the ego would have you believe that it is. Although the attempt to keep the limitations that a body would impose is obvious here, it is perhaps not so apparent while holding grievances as an attack on God's plan for salvation. But let us consider the kinds of things you are apt to hold grievances for. Are they not always associated with something that a body does? A person says something you do not like. He says something that displeases you. He betrays his hostile thoughts in his behavior. You are not dealing here with what the person is. On the contrary, you're exclusively concerned with what he does in a body. You're doing more than failing to help in freeing him from the body's limitations. You're actively trying to hold him to it by confusing it with him and judging them as one. Herein is God attacked, for if his son is only a body, or if his daughter, if his offspring is only a body, so must he be as well. A creator wholly unlike this creation is inconceivable. If God is a body, what must his plan for freedom, for salvation be? What could it be but death? In trying to present himself as the author of life and not of death, he would be a liar and a deceiver full of false promises and offering illusions in place of truth. The body's apparent reality makes this view of God quite convincing. In fact, if the body were real, it would be difficult indeed to escape this conclusion. And every grievance that you hold insists that the body is real. It overlooks entirely what your brother is. It reinforces your belief that he is a body, and it condemns him for it. And it asserts that his salvation must be death, projecting this attack onto God and holding him responsible for it. To this carefully planned arena where angry animals seek for prey and mercy cannot enter, the ego comes to save you. God made you a body very well. Let us accept this and be glad. As a body, do not let yourself be deprived of what the body offers. Take the little you can. God gave you nothing. The body is your only savior. It is the death of God and your salvation. This is the universal belief of the world you see. Some hate the body and try to hurt and humiliate it. Others love the body and try to glorify and exalt it. But while the body stands at the center of your concept of yourself, you are attacking God's plan for salvation and holding your grievances against Him and His creation, and you may not hear the voice, capital V, voice of truth, and welcome it as your friend. Your chosen Savior takes His place instead. It is your friend. He is your enemy. We will try today to stop these senseless attacks on freedom or salvation. We will try to welcome it instead. Your upside down perception has been ruinous to your peace of mind. You've seen yourself in a body and the truth outside you, locked away from your awareness by the body's limitations. Now we're going to try to see this differently. The light of truth is in us, where it was placed by God. It is the body that is outside of us and is not our concern. To be without a body is to be in our natural state. To recognize the light of truth in us is to recognize ourselves as we are. To see ourself, capital S, as separate from body is to end the attack on God's plan for salvation and to accept it instead. And wherever His plan is accepted, it is accomplished already. Our goal in the longer practice periods today is to become aware that God's plan for salvation has already been accomplished in us. To achieve this goal, we must replace attack with acceptance. As long as we attack it, we cannot understand what God's plan is for us. We are therefore attacking what we do not recognize. Now we're going to try to lay judgment aside and ask what God's plan for us is. What is salvation, Father? I do not know. Tell me that I might understand. Then we will wait in quiet for His answer. We have attacked God's plan for salvation without waiting to hear what it is. We have shouted our grievances so loudly that we have not listened to His capital V voice. We have used our grievances to close our eyes and to stop our ears. Now we would see and hear and learn. What is salvation, Father? What is salvation, source energy? What is salvation, divine presence of love? Ask and you will be answered. Seek and you will find. We are no longer asking the ego what salvation is and where to find it. We are asking it of truth. Be certain then that the answer will be true because of whom, capital W, you ask. Whenever you feel your confidence wane and your hope of success flicker and go out, repeat your question and your request, remembering that you are asking the infinite creator of infinity who created you like Himself. What is salvation, Father? I do not know. Tell me that I may understand. He will answer, be determined to hear. One or perhaps two shorter periods, an hour, will be enough for today. Since they will be somewhat longer than usual, these exercises should begin with this. Holding grievances as an attack on God's plan for freedom or for salvation. Let me accept it instead. What is salvation, Father? Then wait a minute or so in silence, preferably with your eyes closed, and listen for His answer. Wow, that was beautiful and long both. Thank you guys, and love and blessings to you today.